of like 22 years old are doing IVF. For me, that was the first year. And you know, when you're not in
a
this,
thing,
exactly, you do not know that people actually struggle. It doesn't matter what age. When I saw the fertility doctor, I think for me, those were very depressing times for me. I started blaming my husband because I felt like he was not doing anything.
I know. Yeah.
I felt like I was the one. But yes, I knew. So you see how emotions are now getting mixed. One, you're guilty. You have this guilt.
That is
in
my
you.
fault.
It's my fault. But then you're like, but why doesn't he also do something?
Feel something or do anything. Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about infertility, breaking the silence, surrogacy, and so much more. We have a lovely mom who's going to be sharing her journey, and there's so much to learn. So keep watching. So on the channel today, I have the lovely Fiona. Fiona, welcome to the channel.
Thank you, Lisa.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let them know who you are, what you do, and everything about you.
Right. My name is Fiona Nanozi Ngoga. And I say that slowly because people usually say I rap. It's
Your
like
name,
one full name.
Yeah.
And I am a wife. I am a mother of two. Actually, three. I'm a mother of three. And I love to help people. So I usually say that's what I do. So I work with an NGO. I founded an NGO that is supporting women who are struggling with fertility, basically. Actually, individuals and couples who are struggling with infertility. Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
It's not easy work, but
No,
I'm
it's
glad.
not.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you're supporting women.
Thank you.
And
You know, there are several
people.
times I'm like, God, is this the path really? Like, what I am doing? Can't you find another vessel?
That's the Lord. The Lord He has given you.
Can't you find another vessel for this work? But yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
amazing.
So let's break the ice. Do you prefer to journal or to talk it out?
To talk it out. I'm not like a writer, but I am learning because apparently it's actually a very good way of just letting things off your mind. And so even when I have like something with my husband, I'm like, I want to talk now.
Yeah,
So
that's me as well. I've been also trying to learn how to journal. By the time I remember to get my journal, I'm just like a whole work of,
I feel like by the time I'm done writing, I'll have forgotten the point that I wanted to bring out.
What legacy do you hope your story leaves behind?
Hope. I want to know that someone's hope was restored.
Yeah.
I think for me that's the biggest thing. And when I think about legacy, because we sometimes think about legacy in terms of like your lineage, like your children and what. I think for me one of the things that I actually hope for is that my children will grow up to know that I did this out of love.
Yeah.
And for them to also love, the foundation, to outgrow all of us and, proceed to the generations and generations after that. Yeah. Knowing that our great grandmother one day loved us so much to go through
do this. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so you've told us you're a mom, but I know some background, it's not been an easy path.
Yeah.
So just share with us, what has been your journey when it comes to fertility? Actually, at what point did you know that, I think there's a problem?
So mine, and mine is a bit, so there are sometimes when people ask me, so how long did it take you, how long were you in the marriage before you got pregnant? And I say that mine is a bit different because I struggle with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And for a very long time, I knew it as a hormonal imbalance.
Oh, so you knew before marriage?
Before marriage, yes. So even when I just started my period, it once started late. I feel like later than my peers. Yeah. Then also it was very irregular. So I didn't know it was a problem because when you're in school and you don't get your period, you're just blasting, enjoying, yes. So it's until really out of campus, because the whole journey through campus, as people are there struggling with cramps and what, you're like, I'm good. And then it's not something that someone had ever told me. My mom had never asked me about, are you missing your period or not? So it seemed normal. Then out of campus, so you get your job and you have your insurance. So I was like, nah, this kind of insurance, let me go and I do my full body check. Until now it's free. So I went to do my general check, and then I think the questions they ask a lady is, when was your last period, or how often is it? And then they asked me, and I was like, my last period, I don't remember. They're like, what do you mean? So I was like, because it's not regular. So I think that was like a general physician. So he asked me to see a gynecologist. So I saw a gyne, and I mentioned, so it took me through, when was your last period? I couldn't remember. How often does it come? I was like, maybe 3 to 4 times a year.
What?
So he was like, okay. But I think because I was young then, I looked young, the guy was like, but it's an easy fix. If you want your period, we'll deal with it. If when you're ready to have a child, we'll also deal with it. So he recommended for me. So I was like, okay, for now, let's fix the period. So he recommended for me to take pills. They are normal contraceptives.
The hormonal pills, the ones.
They're actually contraceptives. No more birth control pills.
Yeah.
So I took them, and I was still staying at my parents' home. In my mind, I was like, no, one day if my mother catches me with these birth control pills, what will I tell her? I threw them away. So but also because I'm not a medicine person like that. I don't like taking medicine. So I was like, you know what? Because the doctor said it's an easy fix when I'm ready for that. The pills, it's not really what I'm looking for. I'm not even,
no one wants them.
Exactly. So life moved on. I moved on with life knowing, okay, I have a hormonal imbalance, but it's an easy fix. So went on. And even when I met my husband, he knew that I missed my period. But even to him, because maybe I never had
he didn't even understand.
We really didn't know what it was. So life moved on. And then, you're now married, and you're with your work, colleagues and stuff. And then, so there's a particular friend of mine, or former colleague of mine, and she'd be there. She used to be, she starts, putting you in panic. The husband is going to leave you. They've married you. Why aren't you, conceiving? She's like, nah, these Kampala girls are very, they are very sharp. They'll
take him.
I'm like, you know what?
Let me get to this.
And I first see what the problem is.
But by that time, were you waiting to have, how shall we wait after 1 year? Those things.
It wasn't. There's no pressure. We were like, it will happen. Or, no, actually, so during those times of, let me say, like, it will happen, or there were a few miscarriages also that happened. So we actually had I had 2 miscarriages that I went through. But even then, it was normal, because the society kind of, it's people have miscarriages, but also because I was not really in that place yet, it was like, okay, it happened, and moving on, next time. So those 2 happened, the 2 miscarriages happened. Then now when the pressure was on, of this lady of, but you, why aren't you? So she now starts recommending, there's a gynecologist, he has helped very many people get pregnant and all those things. So I go and I see that guy, and they basically takes me through the whole thing. Do the hormonal test and all that. He also confirms you have a hormonal imbalance. But please note, this whole time, there is no reference to, now let me say, like the miscarriages that I've had, there's no attachment at all to now what's happening. So we move on. He's like, oh, this is an easy fix. He also mentioned it's an easy fix. So he gives me, and indeed, to him, it was an easy, I can say it was an easy fix. So he gave me Clomid.
What's that?
It's a pill. In the fertility world, it's very, very famous. So it helps it helps an egg to be released, basically. It helps the ovaries to release an egg. So he gave me the Clomid, and the pregnancy actually happened. However, it turned out into a blighted ovum. So now this was going to be the 3rd miscarriage. Now this particular one, because we were now working towards, starting a family, it actually hit hard. So when, let me say 6, it's at 6 weeks when they do that.
You go and check
and do the check. So I did that. When I did the Clomid, of course they give you like you have timely intercourse with your husband. Then after 2 weeks we tested and I was positive. So that 6 weeks we go to the hospital and the doctor is like, I don't see a heartbeat. We do the test again and the test was okay. Then it's still positive. They can actually see a sac
but
in
it's
the scan,
empty.
but the sac is empty. So I first left now the doctor. I went to another hospital because at this whole time I was like, the next time I go, there should be a heartbeat in this thing.
Yeah.
So I started reading about it, what a blighted ovum is there any chance of reversal, and all those things. And I went to 2 other hospitals before I actually accepted that it was a done deal. So I went to 2 other hospitals and they would still tell me, how long has the thingy? They're like, we can see a sac, but there's nothing in the sac.
Yeah.
Change to another one. So eventually, at 12 weeks, I kept it for 12 weeks.
Oh my God, yeah.
So at 12 weeks, but actually, most of them, the other 2 doctors would tell me, but you'll see your period soon.
Like it will come out.
It will come out, yes. So at 12 weeks, I go back now to the original gyne. And he was even surprised to see me. He's like, what?
You still...
He's like, hey, you're still... He's like, we need to remove this thing immediately. So for him, he had expected that it would terminate on its own because he could see it's not a valid pregnancy. Yeah. So it did, and he's like, we need to remove it immediately. So now we had to do a D&C. Yeah. So now you're already like going through all those
emotions,
things. Yeah, all the emotions and stuff. So now I think for me that is when I was beginning to now accept that, okay, there could actually be a problem. But still the doctors were not telling me
what
that
exactly
there is a problem. You know, they were still not pointing out that there's actually a problem. So after that, I think my husband had now started seeing signs of we are not going the right direction now in this thing. Because I was going, I think I started going through depression, you know, then you're having arguments about things I don't understand.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? One of his friends had gone to one of the fertility clinics and he's like, let us go and see a fertility doctor. I said, no.
There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong, yeah. The other doctor gave us medicine and it worked. It's just that it wasn't God's plan. So we shall go back the other side. It's like, no. Then I bring in the factor of, you know, but those things are even expensive, you know, fertility hospitals are expensive. Because I now you start hearing, fertility doctors, this is how much, they start giving you estimates. I'm like, but the costs are even high, we can't go there. And he's like, let us go to a fertility clinic. So I accepted.
And you went.
You know, let us go. So now, when I saw the fertility doctor, that was the first time they actually told me what I was struggling with. So they tell me, yes, you have a hormonal imbalance, but you actually have polycystic ovarian syndrome.
PCOS.
Exactly. Then they explain. Because now you're wondering, what does it mean? What caused it? You know, you're like, what did I do?
Exactly. I said, what did I do?
Then they tell you PCOS has no cause. Even as we don't know, it's unexplained, you know. So, but he actually took me through, this is what it means, this is how your body is reacting, this is why you miss a period. But he also then started explaining there are different symptoms. People with PCOS have different symptoms. So for me, my symptom could have been missed periods, irregular periods. Other people have regular periods, but you're not ovulating. So they're different in a year. So he takes me through it all. Is like, we can try, but then now they had to do an extensive, you know, test of the whole reproductive system, because I'd given him the history of the D&C that I did, plus the miscarriages, yeah. So now when we did the tubes, the fallopian tubes, they found that they were, I think because of infections, maybe from the D&C, or maybe even, I don't think it was because before the pregnancies were happening, but ending up in miscarriages. So he suspected the D&C had probably because an infection that spread to the tubes, and caused partial blockage to the tubes. So now we're dealing with two things. Yeah. It's PCOS to deal with, but also partially blocked tubes. And then we were given an option of, we can try and do laparoscopy to unblock the tubes, but there is no guarantee that it's going to work. And then if it doesn't, we can do, you have to go through IVF. And I think because of the state we were in at that time, mentally, emotionally, I guess even physically, we decided let's go for IVF. Now, I actually did the laparoscopy also. When I look back, I'm like, I don't even know why it was done. But I did the laparoscopy and immediately decided to do IVF. Yes.
Okay, so from that time you found out there may be a problem to the time you decided to do IVF, how long was that?
I can say maybe like 1.5 to 2 years. Yeah, 1.5 to 2 years. Because at least now, with the information that we had started getting, we knew that, okay, now there's a problem conceiving. So I think explaining to me about what PCOS was, and that has not ovulating. Yes, you could have gotten pregnant in the past, but it was a miracle.
It's like luck.
Exactly, it was luck that you even got those pregnancies to happen naturally.
Yes.
Because if you're not getting your period, that means you're not ovulating every month.
There's no egg.
Yes, there's no egg that is being released. So it was, for me, I think going to a fertility clinic helped me a lot with the information and to also accept now what I was dealing with.
Yeah, but how did you go through that waiting time when you're trying, and then you have the whole environment telling you these things? How was your emotional state and stuff?
I think at that time, so one, both our families are, they're not like very intrusive in things that really don't concern them. So they mind their business, they wait. If the child comes, okay.
Well and good.
But my mom had, like, she had started over asking. So my friends are asking me when you're the pressure was coming from my mom's friends who are now pressurizing her. You've been telling us your daughter is in school. She has now finished campus. She has a job. Now she's married, but she's not yet. So I have an auntie who has like all daughters, and all her daughters had started giving birth like on campus. So for
she's
her,
benchmarking.
Exactly. So for her, she was also like, you know what? It is, the daughter, the woman is now, the girl is now grown.
Yeah.
Why isn't she having kids? And so I think this pressure had started mounting on her. And she was unintentionally extending the pressure by asking. So then I had to explain to her that, you know what, this is what the doctors have said. I'm struggling with this and this. I'm now seeking medication. Oh, that became another problem. Every day call. What did the doctor say? How did you go? I first blocked. Because the pressure
was too much.
It had become too much. Then at my workplace. So, people are asking, hey, madam, what? And I'm like, guys, I'm not married yet. Why do you want me to have kids? Then the wedding happens. And they're like, madam, you've been telling us that you're waiting for marriage.
People need to stop that stuff, Banang. You don't know what we're dealing with.
So, at your workplace, there are people who are like, madam, you're now married. What are you waiting for? My mom's friends are, okay, now the girl is married. What is she waiting for? So I think for me, that was really the pressure. My husband's side, really, we didn't hear anything. Or if he had, he didn't tell you. Yeah. But I don't think there's any asking. Yeah. Even like my friends, they were also not people that really, people that really knew me. There's no pressure. It's just like from my mom's friends and then also like the workplace. That's where the pressure was. Yeah.
What about with you and your spouse and also internal pressure? Did you have a conversation like, now this is tough? Or like, how did that go?
It was honestly in like unsaid words and actions. And that is how this journey is. Because it's, I find that these are conversations that, one, because it's expected that it's a natural process, Yeah. Sometimes the conversations you're going to have are like, oh, how many kids are we going to have? And then, things like that. Oh, where shall we take the kids to school? And so we had also been having those conversations. We are still in our honeymoon phase of like, how many kids? 7.
No, I want 3.
I want. But now, when it becomes tough and you're like, okay, that thing is not happening. It's when I'm like, how do we even talk about these things? Okay, we've gone to the doctor. The doctor has said there's a problem. So for me, it's guilt. It was guilt on my side because I'm like, okay, now I am done with a problem. So then you start putting, so for me, I was putting myself on pressure because I was like, okay, how do I resolve, this person, it's not their problem.
It's me.
It is me who is carrying the issue, who is failing us, who is failing the marriage, who is failing, the natural process. So now I'm like, what do I do? And I feel like even when he suggested to go to a fertility hospital, my reservation was a lot on, okay, these expenses that we are going to start incurring are because
My
of
fault.
me. We wouldn't be incurring these things. We had dreams. We wanted to, travel, get your, land, build a house and what. Now, are we taking the money to the hospital? Instead of you're using up your savings too. So for me, the internal pressure had now started mounting because of the guilt. For me, it was a lot the guilt that it is my fault that this is happening to us. And then, of course, then they are like, it's really unsaid. Because you don't sit down to say, okay, now this is what we're dealing with. It just goes, you just literally walk around that issue and then things start popping up. You start, honestly, I don't know what we used to argue about, but maybe it was about money. Maybe it was, I don't know. But when I think about it, exactly, things come up, but it's honestly because of the stress that you're now experiencing.
Yeah. How was your relationship with God? Were you wrestling and saying, but God, what? And things like that?
At that time, I was a passive Christian. I wasn't active. I knew my God, and yes, I used to pray, and I knew that everything is God's plan, and and now when you're in that place of being a passive Christian also, I feel like it even takes you further away because you're like, really, if this God was there,
he wouldn't fail me,
and he was watching, why do these things happen? So for me, I think my relationship with God was on and off, I should say. Sometimes you're like, okay, maybe let me pray, because people go to church and they pray for them and these things break. So when you're like, today this miracle has to happen, you go and they lay hands on you, and then when it doesn't happen, 1-2 months later, you're like, let me first take a break. So at that time, that's my relationship with God was on and off, because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why he would let things happen like that.
Okay, so now when you decided we're doing IVF, and I know you might have had some information about it, but maybe not clearly. Like, what was the expectation, and then what was the reality of it all? Tell us that journey.
So for me, first there were fears, and I was like, these children that we, through IVF, are they okay? Are they normal? But also, I had really never. You hear about the IVF, but I had never really met someone who has actually gone through IVF and they have their kids. I had never heard of a support group anywhere where you can talk about these things freely, and you're like, let me see some evidence,
that it works.
So for me, it was a lot of that. It was fear for the kids, that will my kids be normal? That was the fear. Now, when it comes to, because of the amount of money that you're paying, I thought that if I am giving you this amount of money, you better give me some results, please.
Immediate.
I was like, there is, in my, let me tell you, I knew that when people go for IVF, it is guaranteed.
Obvious.
They come out with some results. The only question was on the quality of the results, So anyway, so when we went in, and I honestly do not remember, but the doctor said they told me about all these things, that there's no guarantee, but
it skipped your mind.
It skipped my mind, because my mind was on,
you wanted
a
result.
Okay, we've come here. So now what next? What what do we go? Where do we go after here? So we pay our money, then they move us to the IVF section. And then one day I'm there waiting to see the doctor, and I see the board with statistics. Statistics according to age, first of all. I'm just like, you know what?
Like
we
the
grew
success
up-
rate.
Exactly, the success rates. You know, we grew up and our parents are like, don't touch boys, don't look at them, don't look their direction and what.
Mm.
So at that time, I was 29. I knew that I was still youthful and
Yes.
still young.
Yes.
But then, actually, so it's a doctor who first told me, like, actually, that's why he encouraged us to do IVF, because it's like, you know, you're actually at your peak right now. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just 29. He's like, madam, you're going to be 30 in a few months. And that is, you're really at the peak. After 30, you start, the thing starts going down. I was like, but
You can't be.
Our parents told us that we shouldn't. And
now is the right time, 28,
exactly,
29.
the right time. So, okay, after knowing that, okay, now I'm at the peak, now the panic, now those are the things that start increasing your panic. After knowing, oh, my age is now against me.
Yeah.
So we go to the IVF section, there are statistics. You're seeing, I was even surprised that people like 22 years old are doing IVF. For me, that was the first year. And you know, when you're not in
a
this,
thing,
exactly, you do not know that people actually struggle. It doesn't matter what age. So then there are statistics of course, let me say like 22 to 25 had the most success rates. Then 26 to 29 success rates there. Now me, I was very close to 30, so I was in the 30 age bracket. I was like, what? I almost asked for a refund.
You guys are not guaranteeing anything. Yeah.
Because I was like, but how we pay this amount of money and we are not sure we are going to get anything out of it. Yeah. But anyway, so we went for it. We decided that, you know what, it's okay. Let's try our luck. And we started the IVF journey. But even what to expect, no one tells you that one, this is a hormonal treatment. This is hormonal treatment. So you should expect maybe to be off, or your hormones are going to be played with, you know, nothing like that. So I went into it not knowing what to expect. And for me, honestly, you know, one, the injections are given like at a certain time. So I hadn't really, and there are things that I didn't think about. Okay, my workplace, what will I start telling my boss at? Where am I going at midday every day? You know.
Fiona, let's first track back a bit, because we're assuming everyone knows what IVF really is. Maybe you can help us break it down. What exactly is it? What's that process? What does it mean? Yes.
So IVF is really they in vitro fertilization. So in vitro is
outside the uterus.
Outside the uterus. So what outside the uterus. So what they do is that so if the lady has no problem with their ovaries, so we're assuming that your eggs, the woman's eggs are okay, and the husband's sperm is okay. What they do is that they will harvest my eggs, they will harvest my husband's sperm, and fertilize them outside the body. Once the embryo is formed, then they put them back in the body. And so they do that to there are people who have block tubes.
Yeah.
So if someone has block tubes, there is no way you're going to have a natural
because
conception.
The egg can't.
The egg and the sperm cannot meet. So even with me and my PCOS, they could have tried to treat the hormones and we try a natural conception, but because they were now partially blocked tubes, the process, the time harder. Of waiting was going to be harder. And because I mentioned the age aspect, the doctor was like,
we're running out of time.
You're running out of time. Let's do it now when your eggs are still good, so that we don't wait longer and then we tell you the eggs are also not viable anymore. Yes.
That's the third issue now.
Exactly. So really that's what they do, the fertilization. The egg and the sperm meet outside the body. Yes, that's what they do.
Okay, so you talked about, because now they have to harvest, let's say, the eggs. Yes. For me, in my head, when you say harvest, I'm like, okay, just get them. Like, just get them. Just get them, you know?
So now, that's actual. So the actual IVF, or I think actually the costs, what I have learned is the actual costs of the IVF treatment go into helping the woman's eggs grow. So what they do is that they take control of your natural cycle. That's what the doctors do. So they will induce a cycle, basically, because your cycle starts on the first day of your period. So the doctors will induce your cycle. So when your period starts, on the second day of your period is when they start with the injections, with the IVF treatment. So what they are doing is that they don't want the body to control the ovaries naturally. they want to be able to control it with the medication. So because the chances and the guarantee of it working are very slim, they want to collect as many eggs from you. And in a natural cycle, a woman releases 1 egg. In abnormal cases, 2 eggs, which become twins. So what they want to do is to collect as many eggs as possible. So when a woman actually is doing a cycle and they realize that this woman is only growing maybe like 1, 2, 3 eggs, most times they'll cancel that cycle. Because the chances of even those 3 eggs being the quality that they want them to be will probably, exactly. So if a woman has more than 5 eggs usually, 5 eggs is also not good. 10, they usually want it to be more than 10 eggs.
Wow.
Yes, to grow, so that they have enough
chances.
They have the numbers to play with, you know. If this egg is not good, we can deal with the next one, and then
so that the injections they give are for those to release many eggs.
Yes, to stimulate all the eggs. So it's like they're feeding. You get it? So the injections are to feed the eggs so that they all grow at the same time.
Got it. Got it.
So now, me in my case, because I have PCOS polycystic. So poly means many.
Yeah.
So that means my ovaries have very many follicles. So the follicles don't really mean that there is an egg inside. But the follicles are really where the egg comes from.
Yes.
So I have very many follicles in the ovary. And the reason that I'm not able to ovulate one is because they are really like fighting for the nutrients. So none of them is able to go out.
Okay.
Yes. So now when they do IVF, usually a patient like me who has PCOS, they know that they're going to get very many eggs
because they have many follicles.
Exactly. So I actually have probably a good chance of having some eggs that they're going to be able to work with. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. Now the downside of that is that usually we suffer with side effects of the medicine because the ovary is meant to accommodate 1 egg at a time. Now the ovary is accommodating like 20 eggs at a time. So what now for me in my case, what I suffered from ovarian hyperstimulation. It's a very painful condition because your ovaries are now swollen and the area is very tender. Basically, even just touching your stomach,
you feel pain.
Hitting like when let me say like I would be moving on the road and hitting a pothole, you're in so much pain.
Oh God.
Because of the ovaries that are swollen. Yes. So for me, actually, my IVF cycle had to be stopped halfway. So when they did the egg collection, I couldn't continue immediately into the the embryo transfer. Because they had to let the body first get back to normal. Then we continued the cycle.
Hey, first wait there now. You talked about now at your workplace, this medicine is given at a certain time. Tell us more about that. Because for us, we're like, we're not understanding what's happening.
Yes. So what they do, because basically it's like they're feeding the body.
Yeah.
They're feeding the ovaries. Actually, because there's a time I asked, why are the injections on the stomach? Why not on the bum? You know, but because the stomach is closer to the ovaries. That's why they give the injections on the stomach. It is painful until you get used to it.
Like the place becomes numb. You don't numb core, you just keep
nothing. Every day, pricking. Then at some point they become like 2 injections on the same day.
Oh my God.
So they're just like pricking the same areas, you know. So at some point, you know, when I was going through it, it used to be, and I think for me, those were very depressing times for me. I started blaming my husband because I felt like he was not doing anything.
I know. Yeah.
I felt like I was the one. But yes, I knew. So you see how emotions are now getting mixed. One, you're guilty. You have this guilt.
That is my fault.
It's my fault. But then you're like, but why doesn't he also do something?
Feel something or do anything. Yeah.
So I'm angry at this person because they are literally just asking me, how was today? How do you feel? And I'm like, you should take some of these injections and know how I feel. But so you're going, for me, it was like an emotional roller coaster. You're on a high, you're on a low, you're on a high, you're on a low. But really because, you know, the injections, the hormones they're injecting you with, but also the physical toll that it's taking on you, because it becomes painful. For me also, leaving the office every day, you know, and I mentioned I had to leave, but my boss didn't know where I was going. So my work begins struggling, because people are like, hey, this chick only leaves, she leaves when she wants to leave. They're now wondering, is she even working? Is she, you know, but they don't know what you're struggling with. Exactly. And at that time, I was not open about it yet. So I couldn't share with anyone that, guys, I am actually struggling with something like this. So I just kept, I leave, I go, and then time, you get warning letters here and there about your absenteeism. Yes. But you can't explain to anyone. When I was beginning the IVF, because I was on a cycle with many ladies, the first day we did the injections, there's a lady who actually came and said, I don't think I can continue with my treatment because my boss will definitely not let me leave office every day to come and do this thing. So that the hospital had to write her a letter. So now that means she had to disclose that she's going through treatment. So anyway, so that's really how the journey, the stress. So you start getting stressed from work. You're being stressed at home because you're now angry at this person who you feel is not being participating in this thing.
That's tough. And you feel like, is it the stigma that women go through that we're not able to share about it? What do you think?
I think shame. You feel like it's a shameful thing to talk about. And then the stigma, because you're now, people are going to start, and you know, at least now we've started having conversations about fertility. But you know, there are times where, and even the community, people have related infertility a lot to, you know, witchcraft, or the Senga has cursed you, or, you know, things like that. And when as the workplace that I was at, so because of that, I think the kinds of people and their backgrounds and stuff like that, then they start telling you, oh, but have you visited your Senga to, you know, things like that. I'm like, what has my Senga
to have to do with this?
Have to do with this? This is a medical issue that I'm going through. So not many people have the awareness that when someone is struggling with giving conceiving, it's actually a medical issue. It has nothing to do with curses and, you know, witchcraft and things like that. So it's stigma, yes, but shame takes a very big part in this thing.
We need more awareness so that people can, you know, when you openly share, then you take charge, and then you can even get more help.
You take charge of your story. I think for me at that time, it was a lot. It's a lot about, you know, people talking about you, like, people are going to start talking about me, that this chick doesn't even give birth. This, you know, those are the things
statements people make.
Exactly, the statements people make. When I was doing my treatment, there's a friend I'd gone to school with who I met, bumped into her. I was actually straight from the hospital from doing my injections. So I bumped into her and she tells me, oh, Kongs. So my stomach was bloated from the injections.
You looked pregnant.
I looked pregnant. But I was on injections, which I didn't even know were going to work for me, you know. And the person tells me Kongs. So I don't remember what I answered. Maybe I didn't answer her. Maybe I said thanks. I don't know. But you know, that's all like trauma to someone who is going through this journey, and you're being congratulated for a pregnancy that
you don't, that is not there, that you're not even sure.
It looks like it's very far in the journey for you.
Sorry about that. So what was the outcome? Did it happen immediately? Were you successful? How was that like?
So luckily for me, and you know, for me, I keep telling people that God has really been in my journey. And when I even decided that, you know what, I need to help, I need to come out and share my story because of the different things that I then saw God putting together. So when I did my treatment, we decided to do 3 embryo transfers, really because of the success rates.
Like they put 3 embryos.
3 embryos, yes. And this was, the doctor advised, so they give you a choice. You choose how many embryos you want to do, but they tell you that if you choose one, you might not have anything out of it. 2, you're increasing your rates. 3, so we're like, you know what, let's try 3. And at that time, so apparently, my husband, I think, you know, when you go through these things, you've spent money, you're like, you know what, if I get 3, I close this chapter, and you know. So my husband was really stuck on the 3, but you know, I kept thinking about us like,
How will I manage?
3.
Yeah.
If they all come out, what will happen?
Mm.
Yeah. So honestly, for me, I had been praying. I had been telling God, if you give me just 2 like this, I will give them back to you. You know.
Hannah.
Exactly. I just like, God, these children are going to serve you. Just give me 2. So we did the transfer of 3 and we got 2 out of it. Now that was also a cause of an outburst in our house. My husband was like, so when we did the pregnancy test. Meanwhile, so after the transfer, they tell you, don't do those home tests. 2 weeks later, come back here, we do a blood test. Because they know, the anxiety
is a lot.
Those 2 weeks will look like 20 years to someone who is on this journey. So I did my transfer. My mom called me on day 2. She's like, Fiona, why don't you buy a test? Then we start testing slowly.
Yeah.
So we actually tested on day 5.
Was it
It
positive?
was like a very faint. I was like, okay.
There's
like a faint line somewhere. So for me, I started seeing some.
Yeah.
So yeah, then 14 days later, we went back to the hospital, did the actual blood test, and it was positive, and the HCG was high. So then they told us, oh, the HCG is high, so you might have more than 1.
Oh, when it's higher, that
when
means
it's very high, that their levels, they can tell the levels that this is probably more than 1 kid in here. Yeah. So then they told us, yeah, it would probably be more than 1. Then I was like, God, please, remember my request, please. So yeah, when I went back to do the scan, they found that they were actually twins. So I went back home so excited, tell my husband, we actually did the scan together. So on the way out, I was like, oh, this is what I prayed for. He's like, what? We went back home, it was a full-blown argument. So we have been praying for different things.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But it's not a cause for an argument. But you see, because there is tension.
There's a lot of emotion,
exactly.
a lot of, yeah.
So we had a fight about, I've been praying for 3, you're praying for 2. But anyway, yeah, so.
Wow, I can imagine it can cause, because it's not just affecting you. It's affecting Kim, it's affecting the marriage, it's affecting your mom, it's affecting so many people are on tenterhooks. So I think we need to show more grace, because we don't know what people are going through. People are struggling, And I know you be with lots of other, moms or moms in waiting on the journey, I think also the privilege that you have a supportive spouse, a supportive partner.
Yeah.
There are lots of women who are out there who don't have that.
Yeah. And for me, I think I experienced it with, you're there and you're waiting for in line. And the women are telling their stories, as you're waiting for your injection and what. So the women are telling their stories, and they're telling you about their husbands, how the husband has now got another child out there because for them they cannot. They are telling you about their in-laws chasing them out of their homes, because they're just wasting the guy's money and doing nothing for them, and all these things. It was such a painful experience. Actually, the whole journey is so painful because you're carrying your own pain. Then you start hearing people, and you're like, wow, how much, how much more can someone go through? So it was, for me, the story is actually from those women. Part of the things that pushed me to do the work that I'm doing right now. Because I was like, there's no way we are living in a society and it is okay. Actually, people do not know what someone is struggling with. But it has also become very okay for us who are struggling, because I think society has kind of dictated, or the situation has dictated that you have been reduced to
giving birth.
You've also been reduced to, it's okay if your husband cheats on you because you can't have kids. It is okay. It is okay if the in-laws are mistreating you. You can't have kids for
understand them.
Exactly, it's understandable. I was like, how are we living in a community like this? How is this normal?
Yeah.
How is it that someone's emotions, and whatever it is that there has been reduced to, if you can't have kids, then you should suffer.
Really unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. So for me, really, that's as like, no. people need to know about infertility. People need to know the struggles
that you go
that
through.
go on in someone's life. It is not just personal, it extends to your marriage, then extends to the family,
your work,
your community,
and everything
around you.
Tough. Now you've had the positive pregnancy test. Is carrying a baby who, like, from that situation the same? Like, you just say, okay, now I'm pregnant. Now you go about your life like you're finished. Everything is kawa. You finished them. Like,
now I would say yes and no. Yes, for some people. So I actually found this a bit odd. So when we're doing, let me say, like, because they tell you for the first 3 months of the pregnancy, the hospital asks you to stay with them, to do your antenatal with them, because those are very delicate stages of the pregnancy. And they give you the choice. After 3 months, you can then find your own gyne if you want, or you can stay with us.
Yeah.
And I think 95% of the women were choosing to leave after 3 months. So I remember asking the doctor one day, why is it that the people are leaving? And he told me because they don't want to be associated with, as soon as you get your pregnancy test like this, no one should even know that you walked out of this fertility clinic at some point. You get it? So that is a lot of the stigma that people are going through. So you're even embarrassed to be seen walking
around there.
Exactly. And I talk about this, but honestly, even now, when I go to a fertility clinic, okay, now I think because I've frequented it like several times. But like those initial moments, it's almost like you want to go with a hoodie.
No one should see you. Who is seeing me?
Exactly. But then one day I was like, but you know what? We're actually all here for the same reasons. But even then, you walk out of the car. As soon as you think it, you just... no one should even see your car, leaving those area codes. So it is so bad. It's so bad. But then...
the pregnancy. The pregnancy, like...
So the pregnancy, yes. So for some people, yes, it will now move on normally. And, now, for me, I should say it was also, yes, normal. I think you don't think about, once you have that positive pregnancy test, honestly, you don't even, the journey that you have been through, the injections, it's almost like they fade away.
Forgotten. Yeah.
So now you've started a new journey of the pregnancy. Now, unfortunately for me, even the new journey that I was to take was not smooth for me.
What happened?
Because at about 4 months, I had gone and so because of the trauma you've been through, when they give you a schedule, they are like, at maybe this many weeks you'll do your, and I think that's in the normal, antenatal. You'll be doing your scans so often. I think I used to do my scans every week
to check,
because I wanted to be sure that those guys are still in. But because of my doing many scans, they were actually able to find out that my cervix was opening at some point. So I went for my one of those many scans that I was doing, and that's when they discovered, because it wasn't a time for my scan, I think was maybe like another 3 weeks to go and stuff like that. So I go and the doctor is like, this is not okay. So anyway, they did the scan, and then he said he would call me back. I think we had 10 minutes into our leaving the hospital. He calls me, he's like, Fiona, you know what? You need to come back now. Because the scans actually are showing that your cervix is opening, so we need to do a cervical stitch immediately. Because also I think usually they do the cervical stitch earlier in the pregnancy because it's harder to do later. So now I was about 4 months, so it's like, we need to do it now if we are going to do it. And he had also given an option. We can try bed rest and see, okay, slow down on your work, movement and stuff like that. So we tried the slowing down for 2 weeks. It was just getting worse. He's like, let's do the stitch now. So we did the cervical stitch. But even with the cervical stitch, it did not help because it continued to open. They could see that there's a lot of pressure that's being inserted on the cervix. So I had to go on total bed rest because it was at that point of even the stitch will not be able to hold, so you might end up losing the pregnancy.
That's not an option.
Exactly. So now that is when I had to come clean at the office about what I was experiencing. Because at that time we're going through management change, what people are losing their jobs left, right, and center. I remember I had warning letters already. Now I'm going to ask for bed rest at 5 months or 4 months.
That is 6, 7, 8, 9, like.
Exactly. So I had to come and tell my boss. I brought reports, all my medication evidence to show that I've been going through this. This is the journey I'm walking now. I'm pregnant, and now the children, I'm at risk of losing them. Yeah.
Did they understand?
Luckily, they now the actual, let me say, like, CEO was in the country at that time. So I went and spoke to him directly, and I told him this is what I'm experiencing. He said it's okay.
Wow.
You go and work from home.
Good.
It
That's
was
amazing.
honestly God. So I was on bed rest for another like 4 months. Then towards the end of the pregnancy, my breathing was a bit labored. So remember, I was supposed to be lying down, but every time I would lie down, I would just be like struggling to breathe.
You can't breathe.
Yeah. So I went to the hospital I was like, let me just go and tell these guys what I'm experiencing. So I go to them and I tell them, my feet were swelling, and I tell them, I am not able to breathe properly at night, but also my body is swelling. Maybe we should plan on getting the kids out. They told me, no. These are normal pregnancy symptoms. Yeah. Don't you see? Other women, people have swollen feet. When you give birth, they'll be okay. Yeah. But I was like, but even my breathing, they're like, yeah, because the kids are, so it's okay. It is pregnancy. I was like, so I first went back home. Because that day I'd gone alone without my husband. So I told my husband about it. It's like, we have to go back together. So we went back together the next day. And he's like, you know what? I'm the one who sleeps with this person at night.
She's not breathing.
She's not sleeping.
Yeah.
I would actually get out of bed and walk around, but I'm not supposed to be up. I should be lying down. So we tell them this was at like 35 weeks. But meanwhile, I used to read. I used to be on the internet every single day. What stage are the babies now? What are they doing now? How is their development? Now, my doctor also recommended that I take protein shakes to help them gain some weight in case they come out prematurely. Now, I had a friend who had a premature at 28 weeks. And I think for me, when I hit 28 weeks, I now started seeing life. I was like,
went through.
28 can survive. Okay. So now every extra week was a bonus for me.
Yeah.
So 35, I was like, you know what? Let's get the kids out. I can't breathe. The doctors they now start telling us your stomach is the best incubation for them. When they come out prematurely, they're going to be in the incubator. Then they gave me the mathematics. They're like, for us here, we are full because the time when you want us to take them out now, but
we don't have space.
Our things are full. So try Nakasero, try Robaga. They gave me the hospitals. Then they told me, but the cheapest you're going to get is 500K per child
night.
per day. I said, but you're not sure how long they'll spend in the incubators if they come out. They tell me that some people even spend a month. So you start doing the math, you're like,
500K times 2 a day, 30 days.
You're like, but because of the situation that I was in, we told the doctors we're going to think about it. We came back the next day and we told them, we have decided, let them come out. At that point, we're like, if they come out and they're not ready, maybe we'll just go and start doing like a card drive and
go fund me.
And we put the kids in the incubator. But I was not okay. So by the time you actually, we had seen the financial implication. It's not that we had the money.
But you're like,
I knew that I was not okay. So anyway, so the doctors are like, okay, we did. Now, it was, I think 36 weeks was like in a few days. We're like exactly at 36 weeks.
Yeah.
That is as much time as I was giving them. So a few days later, did my C-section and the kids were out. Now for me, that is when my problems started.
Fiona, God has chosen you, Kawanga. I don't know.
That is when like real problems started.
Real problems now.
So the kids came out. Luckily, one was 2.6, one was 2.8.
Okay, so at least
they actually didn't need. None of them went into an incubator.
Oh, that's good.
The kids were fine. So we are like, okay, the kids are fine. 3 days later, we'll be going home. So on the second night, I'm like trying to sleep, breathe. I'm coughing. So now, because my mom had been with me like the whole time. So that night, I had told my mom to go home. So my sister stayed behind. So I told my sister, call the nurse because I am not okay. I can't breathe properly. Every time I try to lie down, I'm coughing. So the nurse comes, calls the doctor. The doctor comes very early the next day. They do their tests. Then it's like, think you should see a cardiologist. But okay, but he didn't put it like, no, he just said, we are going to recommend that you see a cardiologist, but everything seems okay. Everything seems okay. So he recommends us to go to to a cardiologist. So when we went, so my body was swelling more instead of coming down out after the pregnancy. My body was swelling more. Now plus the coughing that I was doing. So we went, we did an X-ray, and they found that there's water accumulating in the lungs. But also because they had been doing the pressure things at the hospital, my pressure was really high. So anyway, we go into the cardiologist thing. She's doing her echoes and heart scan, and she starts, I'm doing my PhD in this field, and there were many women in our African countries dying from this condition.
You're like,
That's when I stopped understanding. So I honestly don't remember what other things she said after that, because I think my mind had kind of. And she does her scans, blah, blah. Then she gives us medicine. So she gives us medicine, and we ask her. So now my heart. So she found that my heart was sick. And she didn't tell us to what extent, but she just told us women are dying from this condition. So she gives us medicine. We ask her, is it safe for breastfeeding? She says, yes, it's safe for breastfeeding. Come back and see me 1 month later. Now, the water that was in the lungs, she wanted to perform a procedure to draw it out. But then I think she realized that the condition I was in, I could probably die at her table. So she says, you know what? No, she actually first asked my husband, she told my husband, if you guys have the money, I can do this thing now. My husband is like, what money? Do it now. So that's when a few minutes later, she's like, you know what? No, I'm going to mark for you. You go back to the hospital. There's a physician. They do it from there. So she did. She drew for me marks where they should prick and draw out the water from the lungs.
Yeah.
We went back to the hospital. So we were crossing. So we were at SAS clinic. So crossing from SAS, we had parked at Watoto. So that evening traffic, crossing back. Now, because I think the time we had spent at the hospital, also just the information that we had got, how sick maybe like I was and stuff like that, I honestly could feel my life leaving my body.
Are you serious?
So I didn't tell my husband, but in my mind I was like, let's just cross the road. If I collapse and die here, it's okay. But if God helps us, I'll make it back to the car, and maybe I can die in the car. In my mind, that's what
you're thinking.
I was like, let God just help me and I make it back to the car. I can die in the car. Anyway, cross, go to the car. And I was like, okay, thank God we made it to the car. Drive back to the hospital, tell the doctors, this is what they've said. So the doctor's like, he wasn't comfortable with pricking, because now already they've identified the heart is sick. He's like, now if we damage any more organs here, we might not have her. So he's like, so my doctor is like, let me sleep on it. Now I started taking the medication this woman had given me. So one, it was to drain water out of my body. So they give you medicine to help you pass urine. It's like constant passing of urine, to help drain. Yeah. Plus, of course, let me say like pressure medications, to try and now regulate it. So the next day the doctor comes and is like, let's seek a second opinion. So we went. So he recommended another doctor. Went to this lady, and the first thing that she told me is that you're not going to breastfeed the children.
Why?
Of course, I broke down, cried. I have prayed for the children. How will I bond with them? What? My children will not be okay. If she tells me, Fiona, the children are the other side with your mom. Me, I have not actually seen them. You're my patient.
Oh, yeah.
They are not my patients. Then she tells me, if you die, those children will not have a mom. But if you don't breastfeed and you survive, those children will have a mom. So then she explains to me why I couldn't breastfeed. One, she said the medicine she was going to put me on was going to be dangerous for me to breastfeed. For the children would feed
through the milk.
Through the milk. Two, she needed my chest area to be light, because when you're breastfeeding, the
milk is full.
Exactly, milk is full. The
more
chest
pressure.
is heavy. Exactly. She's like, I want your chest to be as light as possible. So we cannot do it. She looked at the medicine the other doctor had given me. She said, this medicine was not going to do anything for you.
My God.
Anything for you.
Oh.
So she now put me on constant. So basically now for her, for the first 2 weeks, I was on daily reviews. I would go back to her every day. The only reason she didn't admit me is because there were kids the other side. So she's like, I don't want you to be separated from the kids. So you go back, just
keep
commute.
coming.
Exactly. So for the first 2 weeks, I was seeing her every day. The other one had told me to see her a month
After
later.
a month. Huh?
So I saw her every day for 2 weeks. Then when there was a bit of improvement, it became every week. Then, it came progressing like that. And then I think like at 3 months now, when she could see that the heart was bouncing back, that's when she told me that the heart function was at 15% when I went to see her. My left side had collapsed. Yeah. And she said, if I kept that pregnancy an extra day,
that was it.
I was not going to make it out of theater.
Wow. Oh,
so, yeah. So basically, I spent a year in recovery.
Oh my God. So what caused the heart issue? Was it related to the pregnancy or what?
Now, it's related. Okay, the multiple pregnancy, yes, put some extra strain on the heart, but there is no. So after I healed, let me say, I tried to now read more about it to see what caused it. Was it related to the IVF treatment that I had done? And I even asked the doctor that I had then. I asked him, do you think this heart condition was related to the treatment? He said no. There was no particular relationship with the IVF treatment that I had done and the heart condition. But because I have read extensively now about fertility and about, PCOS, women with PCOS are at a higher risk of getting heart disease.
Oh my God.
So my PCOS exposes me to heart disease. Then there's a multiple pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it increased my chances of heart failure. All this no doctor will tell you. As they're treating and all these things, they will not tell you that you're at risk of this. You are,
Or sometimes they don't know. Maybe sometimes
they don't know. And for me, that's the thing. Even as, when I'm creating awareness about, it's not even just for the patient. It's even for our medical people.
Yeah.
They need to have more information about. Let me tell you, and I keep telling the people, the ladies, let me say, like in my support group, that the doctors in many cases are also learning from us, on us.
Because you're a unique patient.
Exactly. You're unique. You're like a case study for them. Yes, they have their information from school, which is general.
Yeah.
But you as a patient, your condition is unique. And they keep experiencing on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fiona, also, because I tell you that IVF, the cervix has opened. I had disease.
Yes.
I even can't imagine.
So,
how are you mentally? Like, how are you emotionally, mentally? How are you dealing?
Before, let me say, like, the kids come, the depression that you started going through, or the marital issues you started going through, you're like, you know what, when these children come, they are going to fix this thing.
Everything.
Because,
it was the missing link.
It was the missing link here. Then the children came, and they are not fixing what they should be fixing, And honestly, for me, I know that there's a reason why everything has happened the way it has in my life. The 1 year that I was on bed rest for my heart to heal. So I started bonding with my kids maybe like at 4 months. That's when I could actually carry them because I was very weak physically.
Oh God.
So my sister, God bless her, she was with us from the time that from the time I started experiencing my pregnancy issues, she came and started staying with us. So even when I gave birth, she was there to nurture the children, to carry them, feed them with my husband, So one of them actually grew up very close to her. Yeah, because she had spent a lot of time with her. I mean, with him, So, but because I had a lot of, I had that 1 year of my life literally in a certain zone. For me, it gave me time to then start reflection and realizing, okay, this thing, I actually have work to do on myself.
Yeah.
This is what I've been going through. I've gone through depression. My husband has also gone through his fair share of, this whole thing. The children are here, but they will not fix what is broken. I have to work on myself. Then I have to see how working on myself then helps with my marriage. And I think that's when this whole thing, then I knew that I needed, it was so heavy on my heart that I needed to help someone who is walking this journey.
Yes.
So I tell my husband one day that, you know what, I want to help someone. So he asked me, how do you want to help? I'm like, I'm going to save some money and pay for someone's treatment. Then he asked me, then what? After I paid for treatment, then what? I was like, okay, now I need more time to think. Yeah, I need to come up with a proper, plan, solution, and stuff like that. Then I was like, okay, let me volunteer. Actually, Zan suggested maybe you call the hospital and you volunteer with them. You talk to people, share your story, encourage them,
bring hope.
Exactly. So I reached out to the same hospital where I'd given birth, and I told them this is how I want to. But because this is foreign to them, that a patient will come and want to share their story willingly, So the person that I saw asks me, what, like, you want to work? I'm like, no, I have a job, but I want to volunteer. Then she asked me for my CV.
I'm like,
I don't need any facilitation.
I don't need anything.
I don't need transport. I don't need airtime. When you have workshops or whatever it is, I just want to come and share my story and encourage someone. So she went silent. She didn't get back to me. So during that time, I was like, Fiona, what is it? Of course, now seeking God. And during this time is when I had now started praying.
Your relationship,
So I had now started seeking God. I'm like, what exactly do you want me to do? And how do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
And that is how the foundation came up. And I'm like, you know what? I can actually start an NGO. One, what do I want to do? I want to create awareness.
Yes.
Two, I want to create access to mental health support because I didn't have that. Three, I want to create access to medical interventions because I have seen what people are going through. Even those who know where the hospitals are cannot afford.
Yeah.
Then there are very many out there who do not know what hospitals to go to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because now I think about my first situation where I went for that Clomid and I had the blighted ovum. The guy, basically, he dealt with, getting the ovaries to produce an egg. What kind of egg was it producing? That is why it ended up into a blighted ovum. Then it ended up causing other issues, So I had a lot of healing to go through. Do I forgive that doctor? Because now caused me issues. If he had told me he couldn't handle me, I should go to a fertility clinic, maybe I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have gone to this extent. Yeah.
Wow. So you started this amazing Restoring Hope Foundation.
It's actually called Rainbow Hearts Foundation. Restoring Hope is our slogan.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it's Rainbow?
So, Rainbow Hearts Foundation.
Yeah.
And I know many people have asked me. So, at first I was there and I was wondering, okay, what name would resonate? For me, it was really, what does it mean to me and to people who are struggling? Yeah. So a rainbow is a ray of hope.
Yes.
And we know that also God gave it and is like, you know what, there will not be any more destruction. So for me, that's what it symbolizes. It's and also my babies are rainbow babies. Babies born after struggle.
Is it after miscarriage or after struggle?
Both. Okay. After miscarriage or after fertility struggles, those are rainbow babies. So really, the rainbow was so beautiful for me too. Then the hearts was one, it was related to my heart condition, because I feel like that was the birth of whatever it is that I was going to do. Then really also the support, the help that even the foundation will get is really from the kind hearts and what. So that's how the names just came together for me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Before we go to the foundation, your first fear was, will these kids be okay? Yes. I know many people may be wondering, IVF babies okay? Are they normal? Tell us about your twins.
They are. And so there's a time I asked the doctor, I'm like, first tell me about, it makes sense even scientifically. So because the IVF treatment, when they're doing the egg selection, so they'll get so for me, when I did my first IVF treatment, they got 40 something eggs.
Wow.
So then they do egg selection to see which egg is reacting better than the other, when they actually do the embryo. So it's actually embryo selection. They'll choose which embryo, when they're doing the transfer, they'll choose which embryo is reacting better. So because of that, the quality that I have.
Creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme, baby.
Yeah.
So my kids are actually too bright. That's the truth. So we recently relocated. Last year, they had finished kindergarten, nursery school. They have, this year, in September, they're joining P3, an equivalent of P3. So they have, so they skipped from kindergarten. When we relocated, they joined year 2, which is an equivalent of P2. And they joined it in halfway because the other guy's year starts in September.
Yeah.
So they just did second term and third term. Now they're moving to P3.
Sharp kids. Okay.
No, but they're actually, they're about to be too bright.
That's amazing.
And they are normal. They are, you know, like if someone doesn't know my story, they will never tell that my kids were born through IVF.
Yeah. And I've met them, Bambi. No more kids. No more kids. So that's like reassuring for people who have that scare, just like you did. That there will be
the kids. And for me, I think that's also one of the things that I like. I'm like, as part of my story, it's to encourage, you know, someone who is wondering, if I do IVF, are my kids going to be normal? It's just to encourage them that the kids are perfectly normal. They are your DNA. They are your husband's DNA. And you know, there's something that someone has ever asked me. Okay, this is really like A or B. So someone has ever asked me if I would do DNA on my kids. And you know, so us who go through IVF, actually an IVF mom is the only mother who is not sure if about the DNA of their kids.
Oh, because they get them out.
Exactly. Oh. So as the mother, is you're sure that these are, I mean, I birthed them. They were conceived inside. You're sure. Me, I cannot be sure. But for the sake of my peace, I'm like, why would I? So if I find out that they're not my kids, then what?
That's another whole thing.
Know, right? So it's all about, you know, it's prayer. And you just put your hope in God that, you know what, I am believing that what the doctors did in the lab was with my eggs and with my husband's sperm. And this is the product. But luckily, my kids also, one of them looks like me, one of them looks like my husband. So
okay.
Even the character is split.
Yeah.
Actually, the one who looks like me has my husband's character. Then the one who looks like my husband has my character. Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. Like, let me tell you, you don't think about everything people are going through. Like, it's not like, okay, I will just do IVF.
It's not about that. It's about all these other complications that, you know, come with it. Okay, do I do DNA on my kids to make sure that they're mine, or do I not? So you see, it's a lot of there's a lot of mental stress on someone who is
spiritual,
going through,
emotional, physical, all.
Who is going through this journey. And now, so that was really the first journey. Yeah.
Okay. I want to just touch on the foundation, really. Your heart is breaking for these other women who are also going through it. Just tell us more about, you know, what the foundation is doing. And I know there's a symposium coming up, and then you can share more on that. Then it's a lot, guys. It's a lot.
So basically the foundation, as I mentioned, Rainbow Hearts Foundation, and our slogan is restoring hope, because for me that is the main thing. I know that on this journey people lose faith, people lose hope. And that is the thing that is very dear to me. I'm like, I feel like that was our commission from God. Go and restore the hope in my people, you know, bring them back to me. And I've seen that very many people turn away from God on this journey. Yes, true. Because you're like, what is he doing if he's there? He's not helping me. There's nothing that, you know, so you turn away from God. But the truth is, even the treatments that we do, it is not only guaranteed. God. Yeah. And that's why I tell the people, it is only God. So what we do is create awareness. And for us, the creating awareness is not just for the community, but even the patients. So what we do is, we don't only create awareness to the community, but we also create awareness to those who are struggling, because there's a lot that as patients we don't understand or we don't know. So we want to educate people, give them the information that they need. They need to know that we have their specific doctors to see. Don't see a general doctor for your fertility issues, you know, things like that. Then our second objective is to create access to mental health support, because it is a very big part of this journey. It cannot be separated. The person already comes distressed, you know, and they are already in that place. then they are pumped with hormones to make it worse. Then sometimes it will not work. The person feels like they've lost money, they've lost time, they've lost all these things. So there's a lot of mental health support that is needed. Then to also create access to medical interventions. And creating access to medical intervention. So we are really advocating for, let me say, like policy change, to try and bring down the costs, to try and, see how we can subsidize things about insurance.
Because insurance doesn't cover fertility treatment
at all. So we are trying to see how we can then, all these things are building up to advocating for the policy and all these things, trying to see how we can have more affordable fertility care in Uganda. So that is what the foundation does. And we have a symposium coming up. It's going to be on the 22nd of August at Sheraton. And really, so because we create, what the foundation does, create awareness from the grassroots, creating awareness to the communities and what. So I then started asking myself, then what? So as I'm creating awareness to the people, yes, they're going to then get more information about where to go for help, what, then but the help is not there, So I knew that now I also have to go to the key stakeholders. So the symposium really targets is like an awareness, but from the top. So we have in the room politicians, basically policymakers. We have Ministry of Health. We have insurance companies. We have HR people. We have lived experiences, mental health advocates. So we want all these people to be in the same space to hear from a lived experience. Even as we come up with policy, let it be with knowledge. Let it be with the proper information. Because I was invited to be a part of there's a bill that is being passed in Parliament about artificial reproductive technology. And yes, this bill has been formulated to protect the patient, but looking through it, there's a lot of things in there that were against the patient that they're trying to protect. But because the people who have actually drafted
they don't
it,
know.
They do not. That day I went with ladies, and there's things about, let me say, like surrogacy in there, and or even access to fertility treatment. There's a clause in the bill that was saying fertility treatment should only be accessed by married couples. You need to present your marriage certificate or your quandula. I don't even know what quandula, photos or whatever it is, to show that you're married. And I went with a lady. She's a young girl. I think she's 22, 23. She had to do IVF for health reasons. Otherwise, she was going to lose her uterus. So she either had to try and have a child,
or never have a child
at all. She's not married. She's straight out of campus.
Wow.
So this person is single, but they need to access this treatment. So if that bill is passed, this person is taken out of it. Yes. So we went, and they were listening to post stories, and they're like, what?
They didn't know.
So they now hear, they were asking, why does someone need to use a surrogate, and things like that. So when they hear it from someone, then they get to know that people don't do it. I mean,
not by choice,
not
really.
by choice, really, yes. In maybe those countries, yes, some they'll do it out of choice, but where
the majority,
will not do it out of choice. You do it because that is the only option that is left for you.
Oh my God! Wow. So you're doing an amazing job. I know you had the first symposium, which was really successful. It was really nice. And now the second one, please come, just hear more.
Come and hear more about it. And so there's a lady who came that the other time for the last year symposium. She's she works in a certain company. And she was just coming to show face and leave. Because I knew her. So she was like, what, let me just support you. They see me and I go. She stayed from the beginning to the end of the symposium. She was like, what? I have daughters at home. I didn't know they could go through this. I didn't know if they are going through this, So it is information for everyone. The symposium, and we tell people it's open to the general public. It's not just those who are struggling. Because the information you get will help your neighbor, will help someone at home, will help the next person next to you. Yes.
It was so nice. I learned so much about endometriosis. I learned about, you just never know
what you... It's just a lot.
It's a lot. Because many moms have children who are struggling even with their period and be like, that is it, Guma, that is it. Kumbe,
period
There could be
pain.
something
Exactly.
that you're missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People miss, I mean, you're having your irregular periods and your parents don't even ask to find out
The conversation.
the conversations.
Yeah.
So it's educative even to us parents to know that I need to find out what my child is going through. For boys, you know, they were telling us about mumps.
Yes.
Mumps in boys
can
but
cause
people don't
infertility
know
in men.
that mumps
Yeah.
cause there. And so as we were telling someone that when you have like us who have, let me say, like boys, as a baby, you need to check that your baby's
testicles
are inside the sacs. Otherwise, if they become teenagers without those testicles there, they're going to actually they'll be infertile, because at that time their testicles will be their production will be dead. So there's not much you can do for. And that is information that people do not
knowledge
have.
is power.
It is.
And you talked about, I want us to quickly talk about surrogacy. You know, when we're talking, would you want to have more children? And is it a possibility? And, you know?
Yeah. Yes, it is something that, actually, so as I mentioned, when you're in that honeymoon phase, you're like, I want one child. At most, I don't want to, you know. So of course, when I started struggling, I then it's like my mind is telling me you need to show this body that
you can do it.
So, but also my husband, Bambi, really wanted like many kids. Yeah. So we've flirted with the idea that, oh, you know what, maybe we should try, we shouldn't. But because of my heart issues, the cardiologist initially had told me, give it 6 years before you try again. You know, So we're like, okay, 6 years. My kids are turning 7 in November. So when they were 4 years, that's when the idea, now the urge started becoming, you know. And I was like, now, so we actually went to the doctor and we're like, okay, I think we are now ready. Remember, they told us 6 years, but at 4 years now, the mind
is ready.
We're like, let's go and start seeking advice. So we go back to the place and we're like, we are ready to start this. So the doctor is like, I told them, if I'm going to go through another IVF cycle, I'll do an embryo transfer. I cannot handle another multiple. And he says, no, every pregnancy is different. You know, you can handle. This time it will be okay. If you do one, it's like you're throwing your money away. My heart wasn't settled with that. So we kind of laid it off. And then recently, we revisited the thought again, went to another fertility clinic. And what I like about this recent doctor that I saw, his main concern was not just treating my fertility. But because he knew he had no control over my cardiovascular system, he told me, if your cardiologist does not approve, then I will not treat. If they do, then I will treat. And unfortunately, my cardiologist said no. She does not advise that I get pregnant again, because she does not guarantee that what happened the other time will not happen, and maybe even be fatal this time. Because she said last time, by the grace of God, we were able to contain it. She said, I will do my best. And so basically she gave me the option also. She's like, you're the patient. Okay, you're the one who wants to get pregnant. Right now your heart is fine. And the decision is mine. But if I do get pregnant, I will be her patient from 6 weeks when I get the pregnancy test until the 9 months. And even
after, you may never.
Exactly. And in case of anything in there, she said, I will do my best to treat you, but I cannot guarantee. Because right now we shall be dealing with 2 lives. You and the baby. So with those words of advice, no, it was really hard to even just decide that, you know what, okay, let us look at the surrogacy route. And even as we speak, it is something I'm still struggling with. So I went through another IVF treatment, and we did the egg collection. They got the embryos, and we did embryo freezing. So right now we've frozen the embryos, as I'm still dealing with a mental torture of having to use a surrogate. Because it's something that I've not yet really, as much as, you know, I preach the gospel about, you know, infertility and what, but sometimes I'm also on that journey of healing, because I feel like the things keep unfolding. I'm like, God, when does it stop? We're dealing with the other. Now you want me to use a surrogate? So, yeah.
And you like you mentioned, that desire, like someone would say, You have to. Why can't you
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
chill?
Why don't you
It's
just
enough.
chill?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's difficult,
Yeah.
especially when you are in the situation of struggling. And that is why mental support is very important. There's a time when I was losing my mind about this thing, and I had to see a counselor, and she kind of put my mind to rest about some of the things that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
The desire, that God has given us the desire, and even that desire, yes, God has given us the desire to have more children, and we are just like how He wants us to have those children, we still do not know yet. And right now, the only option that is presented to us is actually through surrogacy. Yeah.
So have you done some research on it? Do you know where you can, at what step have you reached?
Even today, I was speaking to someone. So for me, it's that thing of it's really the unknown, and many things are unknown on this journey. So even with a surrogate, I'm just like, if I get a surrogate, I want to know where she is, what she's doing, what she's drinking, what she's eating,
Because you have no control.
Because you have no control over this person. Their lives are not going to stop because they are carrying. It's actually for the first few months, their lives continue. I think maybe until they start showing, then, So there are many things that I am not in control of when I am not carrying my pregnancy. But for me, it's even a deeper desire because it's almost like I want to prove my body wrong, because the first time I feel like the body failed me, I did not breastfeed my children. So now I'm like, okay, if I even use a surrogate, how am I going to even maybe have a chance of breastfeeding my kids? So the experience of breastfeeding, I may never experience. And I just feel like motherhood has been robbed away from me in, certain...
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. What advice would you give someone struggling? I know you're also still in the journey, but there's always hope that you can share with someone. Tissue. Oh. Yeah, this is well.
Yeah, it is well. For someone who is struggling, I would advise them not to lose hope, honestly. And I think for me, it's one thing that I've learned is that there is purpose in pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, through there's pain that I've gone through, but then the purpose that has come out of it is beautiful. I love what I do. I love helping the ladies, and to just, encourage the next person who might be experiencing this. Also to know that God puts us in situations where He knows that we are the only ones who can handle that situation. I think for me, it's one thing that keeps me going, knowing that there are several ladies out there who might be struggling with fertility, but He has given me the grace, and even just coming out to share my story, honestly, I feel like God has enabled me, because I don't find it shameful at all to share my story. And I tell people, the more I share my story is the more I heal. For me, I find it's a healing way for me to, it's a coping thing for me.
Yeah.
That's how I deal. The more I share my story is the more I heal. So it's not like someone is going to tell my story for me or to talk behind my back. I have shared everything about me. And my experience with surrogacy, this is actually the first time I've shared my fertility story several times in the past. It's the first time I'm actually sharing it publicly, that I now need to use a surrogate on this journey, And I think where the pain comes, sometimes I've asked God several times. I'm like, God, I've obeyed. I've started the organization. I'm helping people. And, when do I get a win out of this? Yeah. But I guess the win is in continuing to do what I need to do. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, thank you guys for watching. Please, let's break the silence when it comes to infertility. The more we hide and make it shameful, the more people don't have information, the more they will stigmatize, So I think knowledge is power, and let's get into just reading more, learning more about what other people are going through. And I think as you conclude, maybe just tell us, how can other people support people going through this journey?
Really, the main thing is to understand the person's journey. And I keep telling people it's kind of like a trick question when you ask that. Because one of the things that I do, even as someone who walks the journey with these ladies, is I try to educate them about what exactly, like to reflect. Because it is hard to support someone who does not know how to be who does not know how they also want to be supported. Exactly. So many times, as people who are struggling, we do not know how we want to be supported. But the thing is to listen to the person, and it also depends on the relationship you have with the person. There are questions you cannot just ask someone, just because it's your sister or your friend. It depends on how that relationship is, and that will give you some kind of guidance. Sometimes the person will even give you clues. You should take those clues and be like, oh, they've kind of disclosed. Take it as a chance to then bring up some of those conversations. If it's something you've been wanting to, so sometimes the person will kind of give you like a small pathway to, then you can take advantage of that and ask questions to know more about the person, how you can support them on this journey. It's very good to ask the person, how can I support?
Amazing. Guys, please come through for the symposium. We'll put the details on the screen. Check out their Instagram page. What's the name of the Instagram page?
RHFUG. RHF_UG.
Yes, please check them out, see the work they're doing, and let's support Fiona as she is doing purpose, pain, purpose out of pain. Yes. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Lisa Kusima. As always, I'm here to inspire.